Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am super excited to share my first sneak peek of the new 2020-21 annual catalog, the Forever Greenery Suite. Now this is just a stunning suite of products, okay? I can't even tell you how much I love them. So much to love in this suite. I can't show it to you in the catalog because I can't show you the inside of the catalog just yet, but I can tell you if you have a copy, it starts on page 108, okay? So I am going to show you all the products in the suite. I just can't show you the layout in the catalog. So we are going to be making these 3 projects today. Now while I'm getting ready to go here, I am just going to pull up my video on my iPad here so I can see who is watching. Where are we? Here we go. Let's see who's out there. Oh, Heather's here and Deneen is here. All right. So you ready to see some gorgeous products? All right, we're going to start with the bundle, which is always the sort of centerpiece of any suite. So this suite has a die and stamp set bundle. This is the stamp set. It is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, it is one of the distinctive sets, which means you get the awesome shading and gradation of color with just one single stamp. It is amazing. You're going to see these in action in a few minutes. The other thing I love about this set, as always, it's got images and sentiments, which makes it really well-rounded. So that's the stamp set. Then we have a beautiful set of dies. And once again, as Stampin' Up! Has become in the habit of doing, we have dies. It's basically 2 die sets in one. We have dies that cut out stamped images on the left here. And then we have several dies that just cut out shapes. Okay, and they are beautiful greenery shapes. We're going to use a bunch of these today on our projects. All right, so that is the bundle. Awesome. Then we also have a pair of embossing folders. Now these are the greenery embossing folders. You're going to notice they're a little bit narrower than our usual folders. And that is because they are sized to fit in the new mini stamp or die cutting and embossing machine. I can't get the name right yet. I will. So we're coming out with 2 machines. One is a full-size one, and the second is a mini, which is super light and portable, great for taking to crops and different events. And these are sized to fit in that new machine. Now, does that mean you can't use them in your regular machine? Absolutely not. You can totally use them in the larger machine, but these are specifically sized to fit. So these are about 3 inches wide, maybe 3 and a bit. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you can use this on a card front without having to worry about the fact that it's a little bit smaller. Okay, so those are the embossing folders. Then we get to the wows in this suite. Okay, let me show you the DSP. It is absolutely stunning. All right, so here we have gorgeous greenery images. Okay, look at how lush that is. Now, the cool thing about this DSP is that some of these images can be cut out with the dies in the die set. Okay, some more. Look at these. Look at these ferns. So pretty. Again, these ones coordinate with the dies, as do these. Okay, so that's the front side. Now, if we flip these all over, we get some more sort of generic patterns. So not as much of the greenery, but just some really great graphic patterns. Love this stripe. Love this pattern. This one looks like grass cloth. And this one as well. So this paper is simply stunning. So that is the DSP. And then we have this amazing laser cut, super detailed paper. So this paper, you get 3 of each sheet. There's 2 different sheets in the pack. You get 3 of each. So you get 6 sheets in total. So one sheet has all sorts, these are labels. We're going to use some of these today. And then we have more of the sprigs and a wreath. Awesome for Christmas cards. Oh, I can't wait to use that. Okay, so that's the one sheet. And then the second one has these pre-cut card fronts. Now the cool thing about this is you don't even need to cut them. They just pop out. Can you see that? They just pop out of the frame. So there's no cutting involved. So you don't have to worry about dulling your cutting blade on your trimmer. Everything just pops out super easily. So these are, talk about Insta Wow and no need for a die cutting machine, right? Like really quick and easy way to add amazing wow to your cards. We're going to use some today, you'll see. So that's those. And then we also have, where did I put it? Oh, we've got ribbon. You know what? I'll show you the ribbon after. So that is the suite. Now we have these cool hoops. Again, I'll show you those. They're like the trim and embellishments we're going to use on the projects today. So I will show you those as we go. But for now, we're going to get to making the cards. All right. Okay, let's start with this one. We're going to start with this guy. This is one I posted earlier today. It is so, so pretty and so, so easy, thanks to the gorgeous stamps in this set. So I'm going to start with a piece of Whisper White cardstock. It is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And I have several of the greenery images from the stamp set. So my color palette on this one is Sahara Sand, Soft Seafoam, Pear Pizzazz, and Mossy Meadow. Okay, so I'm going to work from light to dark. We're going to set Sahara Sand aside for a minute. And I'm going to start with my Soft Seafoam. And I'm going to ink up this largest stamp. It's this one here with the Soft Seafoam. And I'm just going to stamp it a few times, sort of around that bottom right corner. Okay, this is such a soft light green. It's great. Look at how beautiful those images are. Oh, love it. All right, so that is the Soft Seafoam. Then we're going to bring in the Pear Pizzazz. And I'm going to use this stamp. And I'm going to ink that one up. And the cool thing about this is because I'm using different shades of green, I can layer these images right on top of each other and you still see the detail in the image. You don't lose it. Okay, so that is the Pear Pizzazz. And then we're going to do some Mossy Meadow. So that for this one, I'm using this stamp. And I'm going to ink up. Now this Mossy Meadow pad is getting a little on the dry side. So I'm going to add, and for these ones, I'm not going to come onto the page quite as far. So I'm just going to add a few more of these little guys. We'll do one up here, and that's that. Look at how beautiful that is. Isn't that stunning? Oh, I love these stamps. Okay, next, I'm going to add a little bit of texture using this spatter stamp. I love stamp sets that include these little spatters because they just add the teensiest bit of subtle detail to your design. So now I'm inking this up with Sahara Sand, but I'm going to stamp off once because I want it to be very light and subtle. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of come around the top of my stamped greenery here. Just kind of working my way around just like that. Okay, now this is pretty as it is, right? Really pretty, but we're going to make it prettier by adding some subtle texture. Now I haven't shown you this folder yet. This is not part of this suite. This is from a different suite, but it has become very quickly my new favorite. Okay, this is called Tasteful Textile. It's this folder here, and it doesn't look like much to look at it, honestly. But you are going to see, well, you can see right here what a difference it makes. Can you see the difference in texture? It's amazing. So we are going to do that right now. I'm going to bring up my Big Shot. Normally I do my embossing ahead of time, but I wanted to show you this folder in action. So we're going to get out the big boy here. And I'm going to use just my basic platform. Okay, no plates. And I'm going to add my cardstock. Now, the cool thing about this folder is it doesn't really matter whether you put it this way or this way. It kind of works both directions. But I'm just going to center it out of my folder. This is a 3D embossing folder, so you need to use your 3D plate or a shim with just a regular plate. Okay, and we'll roll that through. And then we'll get this big boy out of the way. And when we take this out of the folder, we get this gorgeous subtle texture. Can you see that? Let's see. I'm just trying to see if you can, yeah, you can see that. It's such a wow. And it just adds so much to that stamped image. All right, now we're going to add a little bit of ribbon before we glue this onto our background. So this is one of the 2 trims that is part of the suite. It is super, super soft ribbon. It's almost gauze-like, not quite as thin as gauze. It's got a little bit more presence, but it's that same softness. It's so pretty. So we're going to start by laying a piece right across the sort of top portion. So I'm going to just trim off a little bit and add a couple glue dots to either end. come here, you. There we go. And we're just gonna lay this across the top right about here. Okay, just like that. We'll do our bow later, but that's all we're doing for now. And just, it's not quite white, it's an off-white, but it works really, really well with the greens. So the fact that it's not white, I actually quite like. All right, so now we're ready to layer this on a mat, okay? It is totally a wow, Heather. I would absolutely agree with you. So this mat is Mossy Meadow cardstock. It is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we're gonna go ahead and layer that just like that. Okay, so we'll get the fast fuse going, see if it's gonna cooperate today. Oh, I can already tell it wants to grab. Nope, we're gonna stick with the Tombow. Fast fuse is not behaving these days. It knows it's on its way out. I cannot wait 2 more weeks till we can order the new adhesives. They're the first thing that is going on my first order from the new catalog. Cannot wait. All right, so there is our matted card front. Okay, now we're ready to go ahead and glue this onto our card base. So this is a soft seafoam card base. It is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So we're gonna fold that in half along the score line and crisp that up. And then again, we'll see if the fast fuse decides to work on just regular cardstock. It should. It just doesn't like the embossed. We're gonna, oh, it's not even cooperating there. Look at that. There we go. All right, so we're gonna pop this onto our card base. And we're gonna have just a narrow 1/16 of an inch border all the way around. Okay, isn't that pretty just like that? So pretty. All right, now we need to stamp our sentiment. So our sentiment, and apparently I forgot to mount it. Good thing I have the stamp set right here. Our sentiment is this one, to a friend that makes me smile. And I think we all have friends that make us smile. And I'm sure, given the circumstances these days, anyone would be happy to receive a card like this from you. All right, so we're gonna ink or mount that stamp, and then I'm gonna stamp in Mossy Meadow, just on a scrap of Whisper White here. So I need to make sure this is well inked because, as I said, this pad is getting dry. Okay, so we're gonna stamp that. Okay, and then I'm going to use the Label Me Lovely punch. This is one from the January to June mini. It's still available, and it will be in the new annual as well. So I'm gonna punch that out and center it in the window. And then we are gonna add just a little bit more greenery using this larger stamp. So this is the one that we did in the soft seafoam. So I'm just trying to find my soft seafoam pad here. Get that out of the way. So we're gonna ink that up. And I'm just gonna kind of come on the edge like that, just so I have a little hint of the greenery there. So pretty. Okay, now you're ready for the wow. The big wow on this card comes from these beautiful laser cut gold foil pieces. So these are from those sheets that I showed you earlier. You just pop them out. It is so easy. Now if I could mount this thing on here like that, but I didn't want to have that peak there. So what I actually did is I just cut off the sprigs. Save this so you can punch shapes out of that later. And all I did is I glued these to the back side of my label like this. Okay, so I'm gonna add just a bit of fast fuse on either end of my label. And then I'm just gonna adhere these, one on each end, just like that. Isn't that pretty? Like insta wow. Amazing, amazing, amazing. All right, now this is gonna go onto my card. Now you see, I didn't put that in far enough because it's gonna extend off the end. Let's just move that in a titch. Come here, you. There we go. Yep, you just have to make sure that your piece isn't too wide to fit on the front of your card. So let's just peel that off. And we're gonna back that up a bit more. There we go. That will look much better. That's better, it fits. Okay, so we're gonna add a couple of of dimensionals rather to the back of that. And we're gonna pop it up, get rid of our backings. And then that's gonna go on the front of our card. just like that. Okay, and then we're going to do a bow. So this is more of that gorgeous ribbon. It ties beautifully. So we're going to pinch our ribbon between our thumb and our index finger to make 2 loops. Okay, I'm going to cross my left loop over the right and then bring it around and through. And that is going to give me, once I play with it a little bit, a sweet little bow. This ribbon makes really pretty bows because it ties quite a nice tight knot, but the loops are still nice and full. Isn't that a pretty bow? All right, so then we're going to notch our ends. So when I notch my ends, I just fold my ribbon in half and snip. Okay, and that's how I get them nice and even. I'll do the other one. There we go. Get that out of the way. And then this is just going to go on just at the base of my label here. I don't want to cover up my sentiment, so I'm going to just add a glue dot. And we're going to just pop that on right at the base of our label so that we don't hide our sentiment. Okay, isn't that pretty? The last touch is some of these gold glitter enamel dots. Now these were available as part of a special promotion last Christmas, but they have come back in the new annual catalog. So I was quite excited because I still had some of these kicking around, and I just realized I forgot to bring my take your pick over. Let me grab it. There we go. So we're just gonna add a couple of these little guys. Actually, let's use the medium ones. Just gonna add a couple of these on here, just a little bit of an accent to an already pretty card. Where am I gonna put this one? Let's put one down here. There we go. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so that is project number 1. Done and done. You like it? All right, let me clear some space here, and we're gonna move on to number 2. I'll get rid of this. I need a couple of these ink pads. We need to save them. And number 2 is this beauty. So this one, I can show you the embossing folder and how you can cover up the little bit that doesn't emboss because they're narrower. Okay, so here I have a piece of soft seafoam cardstock that I've already run through the embossing folder. So can you see how the pattern ends here? There's about 3/4 of an inch that is not embossed. So what we're going to do is just cover it up with a little bit of DSP. Gives you a reason to use some of that gorgeous paper. Okay, so we're going to add just a little strip. You could certainly make it wider and have a more substantial piece there, but I wanted to show you how easy it is to cover that little space and add some pattern and texture. So we're going to just add this. Now this piece of cardstock, the soft seafoam, is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. This little DSP strip is 3/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, and that's all there is to it. So simple, right? Now I actually, on my original, added a little bit of an accent to the embossed pattern because I felt like it doesn't show as nicely on the really light colored cardstock. So I took a sponge dauber and a little bit of soft seafoam ink and very, very lightly sort of tickled that raised pattern. Now I'm not pressing hard because I don't want to get the background. I just want to get the raised pattern. So I'm just kind of tickling it with my dauber. And you're going to see how it makes that embossed pattern pop a little bit more. And you want to go in a circular motion. Okay, that's how you're going to catch the edges of that raised pattern and really make it stand out. Can you see the difference, the top to the bottom? Doesn't that make a huge difference, just doing that extra little step? I really, really like doing this when I'm embossing with light colored cardstock. So I'm using the same shade of ink. Okay, so soft seafoam ink with soft seafoam cardstock. If you want more of an accent, you want it to pop even more, you could go a shade darker. So you could maybe try the Pear Pizzazz if you wanted it to pop a little bit more. But I just like the subtleness of the tone on tone and the way it just brings out that beautiful embossed pattern. There we go. Isn't that pretty? All right. Thanks, Irene. Glad you like that. Okay. So now we are going to add a little bit of the second trim. So this this ribbon and this gold cord come together in a pack, okay? You get both together. This gold cord is something I have been missing for so long. We used to carry something similar and haven't for quite a few years. So I'm very excited to see this. The cool thing about this stuff is it's really easy to separate into individual strands. You can get some really fine accents on this as well. And you're going to see when I tie my bow, I'm going to have that happening. But to start, we are going to do a double length. So all I'm doing is taking about 6 inches, maybe 6.5, and folding it in half. Okay, so, well, I guess it's 13 inches and I'm folding in half. And then I'm going to just lay that across the front of my card and glue it to the back. Okay, so I'm just going to trim off the excess, or trim this off the roll rather. We're going to add a glue dot right where the DSP and the cardstock meet. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and press one end in and then lay it across. Oops, I didn't leave myself very much there. That's okay, we can make this work. Can we? I might have to pull that up. I didn't leave myself enough length. Let's try that again. Let's do it at this end to start, and then we know we have enough length. That would be smarter. There we go. And you just want to make sure you catch all of those little fibers and get them pressed into the glue dot. Okay, you may need to add a second one on top just to hold those little guys down. There we go. Okay, isn't that pretty? I love the subtleness of that cord. Just really fine. All right, now we are ready to glue that to our card base. So here I have a garden green card base. It is 5.5 by 8.5 inches, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. I'm going to fold in half along my score line. Hi, Alfie. How are you doing? Cooking dinner? My dinner is coming courtesy of Papa John's Pizza. I told John he was on the hook for dinner tonight, and he ordered pizza, which I'm okay with. In fact, I think they're actually eating right now. I heard the doorbell go earlier, so they're eating without me. I'll get cold pizza later. Pretty typical. What can I say? It's the way things roll around here. My boys need their food. All right. My fast fuse is not my friend today. Not even a little. Okay. I'm giving up on you. Back to the Tombow we go. All right. So we're going to pop this onto our card front. And again, we're going to have about 1/8 inch border all the way around. Okay. Isn't that pretty? Just like that. So pretty. All right. Now we're going to work on our focal point. So to start, we have one of these cool gold tubes. Now, I'll be honest, when I saw these in the catalog at first, I was like, they look like somebody's big earrings. That's what I thought. I wasn't really sure what the heck this was, but that's okay. I now know what they're for. Don't they make pretty accents? So these are really quite lightweight, and you would think that you would need a lot of glue to hold them down, but honestly, you don't. You need a glue dot. So what I did is I basically rolled a glue dot into a little tube and then pressed my hoop into the dot to pick it up, and then I stuck it down. That's literally all there is to it. Okay, now this doesn't look very secure. Don't worry, it's going to become more secure. Okay, see this? This is staying put, right? It's not going anywhere. So now I'm going to take and roll another little tube here, and the second one is going to go right sort of opposite the first one. This part's going to get covered up with my little banner, so we're not going to see that glue dot. Okay. Now, if you were worried about adhesive showing, you could certainly use the fine tip glue to adhere this. Okay, that is really strong glue that will work. Okay, all right. So now we have a little strip here, just a piece of, this is just a 1/2 inch scrap from cutting my inside panels for the inside of my cards, these guys. Okay, it's 1/2 inch by probably 5 1/4. And I'm going to bring in my garden green ink and this little hello stamp. So I'm going to ink up my stamp. We're going to stamp it just on the centered, hopefully, because I can't see. That's not bad. A little crooked. Let's try again. It is very hard to stamp straight when you can't look directly down at your paper. Oh, that's better. Okay, so there is our hello. And we are going to punch the ends using our tailor tag punch. So I'm going to insert it now. I just want to pinch off the end of this because I want a fair bit of length. You'll see why in a minute. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to snip off some of the excess. And again, I want a fairly long banner here. Okay. All right, so we're going to put this back. And now we're going to go ahead and add our greenery. So in my little bag of goodies here, dump these out. I'm going to kind of work my way up from the bottom. So I have another one of those gorgeous gold laser cut foil accents. Like, look at the detail on this. Die cutting this would not be an option, right? It is so, so pretty. So we are going to go ahead and adhere that just to the loop right where I had that glue dot, where you can kind of see it peeking out. And to adhere this again, I'm going to use another glue dot. Now I'm not going to worry about trying to hide it. It's going to get hidden with a whole lot of other things. So I'm just going to stick that right on there. Glue dot and all. Okay. Next, I have a die cut piece. So this is cut using the dies from Garden Green cardstock. And again, this time I'm going to roll this a little bit because I want to kind of hide it between my little leaves here. So we're going to add 2 of these guys. And that again is going to get stuck right over top of those gold foil pieces like that. Okay. Then I have these little bitty sprigs. These are die cut from soft seafoam. So same color as the background. And again, I'm going to roll a glue dot into a little tube, put some on just the stem here. And we're going to tuck this in between. Whoopsie, don't stick there. Come on. Sticking everywhere but where I want it. There we go. We're going to stick that guy in there. And one more. Just roll that again. Pick it up. And this guy we're going to tuck in under here. Just like this. Oh, not under that one. Let's tuck it under this one. Okay. All right. Oh, except that was supposed to go underneath mine. Jeez. You guys, I am not firing in all cylinders today. All right, we're going to peel this off because I think we can. Yes, we can. We totally can. That is going on our little banner. There we go. And then that's going to get stuck on top. Woo! That was a close one. Almost totally screwed up my card, you guys. And nobody said a word. All right, now what I'm going to do is curl my banner just a little bit using my bone folder. So I'm curling it one way, and then the end I'm going to curl the other way. So can you see how it's got a little bit of a bend in it? All right, so then this is going to get stuck on just like that. Okay, I'm going to add a dimensional right underneath, right next to the hoop where I want my banner to pass over. Okay, so it's going to go on. Oh, I need a glue dot on the back of this guy. All right, there we go. It's going on just like that. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. All right, last touch, second last touch, is to tie a bow with this pretty gold cord. So this is my my twine bow, for lack of a better word. So this is when I don't make 2 bunny ears. I start with a loop. I have a tail hanging off to the left. I bring it around and pull it through. So I'm not actually tying a knot first. I'm just making my loops, okay? And that gives me a smaller knot. I don't get something bulky in the middle, okay? So I'm gonna trim this off, and then we're gonna roll up another little glue booger here and pop that right in the middle, assuming it sticks to the card and not to my finger. And then I'm gonna press the knot of that little bow right into that glue dot, and it's gonna hold it in place. Okay, and then what you can do here is fray the ends of this twine or cord, I guess, and it just looks so pretty. It's so soft. Now it's still a bit long. I'm gonna trim a little bit off. There we go. And we just kind of fray that a little, and we get that really soft, wispy look. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. All right, last step is to add some of these pretty gilded gems. So gold is the thing in this catalog. So these are part of the Ornate Garden Suite, but they totally work with all sorts of things, right? Even though they're part of that suite, you can use these on all kinds of projects, just like that. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. I love it. All right, let's get that out of the way. And we are going to move on to to our last project. Now this one is a fun fold. I'm excited to show you guys this one. Okay, so here is our last project. Now this one is sort of a take on a gatefold card. So a gatefold, you probably know, opens from both sides, right? So this is an overlapping one. So you open this side and then you open this side. Okay, it kind of works like that. So I'm going to show you how to do this. It's really quite easy. Nothing mysterious or fancy, but it is, again, a different fold, which adds a little bit of interest and a little bit of a surprise factor. So we are going to start with, I'm just going to start with our base here. This piece of cardstock is 4 1/4 by 8 1/4. Okay, so 4 1/4 by 8 1/4. And, oh, Heather, I'm making you cry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please don't cry. I don't want to make people cry. I'm trying to make people happy. Okay, so 4 1/4 by 8 1/4. And then this, I've scored this at 5 1/2. Okay, so that is going to be the foundation of our card. So we're going to go ahead and fold along that score line. Okay, and then we have a 2 by, what is this, 6 1/2. 2 by 6 1/2 inches, and I've scored it here at 5 1/2. Okay, now this is going to be, excuse me, let me just take a sip of water. Thanks, Deb. I'm glad you like the layers. The layers are so easy on this because the DSP does all the work. Okay, so I have scored this again, as I said, at 5 1/2. So I'm going to fold along the score line, just like that. Okay, and what's going to happen, this is going to get glued onto the front of our card. You can do it in the middle or you can do it a bit towards the bottom. It's up to you. I did mine pretty much in the middle. So I'm going to glue this on so that the fold here is flush with the edge of my base. Okay, so I'm going to apply some glue just to this little flap, and I'm going to use fast fuse just so it's strong. We're going to fold that down, and I'm going to glue this, and I'm not going to do this while holding it. That is a bad idea because it will not be straight. So I'm going to use my grid lines to help me get this straight and centered-ish. So I'm just going to lay that right across that edge. So now I have my flap. Okay, so you can see how your card's gonna, this is the base of your card. Okay, so simple, right? Now it's just a matter of decorating. So for this inside panel, this is a piece of that gorgeous DSP. It is 5 1/4 by 4. So we're gonna go ahead and glue that inside our card to start. Let's try the fast fuse. Fast fuse seems to like DSP. I think because it's harder pressed. Oh, this one's done anyway. Never mind. Let's stick with it, Tombo. Wow, fast fuse, you've let me down. Okay, now I want to make sure I do my plants growing the right way. So we're going to center this on this back panel, just like that. Okay. Next, we're going to do this panel here. This one is the same pattern of DSP, but the reverse side. So what I love about this particular fold is it uses, there's opportunity to use lots of patterns of DSP, okay? So last week I was all about using up your DSP. I'm still about using your DSP, okay? Do not let it languish on a shelf. It is too pretty to hide, okay? If you're like me, every once in a while you'll take out your pack and look at how pretty the patterns are and then you'll put it away. Don't do that, okay? All right, so this piece is 2 1/2 by 4, okay? 2 1/2 by 4. So we're gonna go ahead and glue that onto our front panel, centering it. And I'm kind of looking at the edges of this panel just to make sure that those are gonna line up, okay? Just so that it's nice and straight and you have some continuity there, okay? Next, we have our piece to go on here. So this, as you'll recall, was 2 inches. So this is 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so it's gonna sit on there quite nicely. So we're gonna add, again, a little bit of glue. Hi, Betsy, how are you? Oh, Heather, you are so not going to regret ordering this suite. It is positively stunning. All right, so there is our decorated card. Okay, now for the inside, because we need a place to write a message, we have a piece of just plain Whisper White. This again is 2.5 by 4 inches, so it was the same dimensions as the DSP on the front. We're going to add that to the inside. You could certainly stamp a greeting on this if you wanted to. I personally like to leave more space for writing, so I didn't bother putting a greeting there. You could certainly add a greeting on another layer here if you wanted to do that. I just love this paper so much I didn't do anything. I thought it was just pretty on its own. All right, so now we are going to stamp our label. So this label is another Sneaky Peeky. This is from the Tasteful Labels dies. So this is a new set of dies, and as I've mentioned last week, this is my new go-to. I absolutely love these dies. So we're going to start with our soft seafoam. I'll show you again my color palette for this one. It's a little bit different than the first card. So here I'm using soft seafoam, pear pizzazz, pretty peacock, and shaded spruce. A little bit different. I basically pulled my colors from the DSP, right? You don't have to be a genius with color. Just pick colors that are in the DSP and go with it. You will be happy with the results. Okay, so I'm using this same stamp that we used on the first card. And again, I'm only going to come on just a little bit on my label here. So I'm going to add a little bit sort of all the way around. Just like that. Okay, then we are going to add, where did that block go? I took one of my stamps off a block to mount the sentiment and didn't remount it, and I need it. There we go. Okay, now we're going to bring in our pear pizzazz. We'll ink that up, and we're going to fill in some of these gaps. So I'm just stamping a little bit. I need to keep in mind that I'm going to have a sentiment here, right? So I don't want to fill in too much. Okay. And then we are going to bring in our shaded spruce, and we're going to bring back this stamp. And I'm just going to stamp it off a little bit because I had Mossy Meadow on it. So again, we're going to add just a little hint of shaded spruce, and look at how pretty those colors are layered. Oh, so gorgeous. Look at that. Is that not stunning? Love it. All right. Now, to stamp my sentiment, I am going to bring back my Mossy Meadow, and we're going to stamp Love and Laughter Forever After. I think this would make a beautiful wedding card, but it could be an anniversary. It could be anything, right? I mean, wishing anybody love and laughter forever after, I think is a pretty good thing. All right, so we're going to stamp our sentiment right across the front of the label, just like that. And then we're going to add just a little hint of texture using the spatter stamp again and a bit of the Pretty Peacock. So again, because I just want a hint of texture, I'm going to stamp off each time, and I'm just going to add those little speckles here and there. Just bring in a bit of that Pretty Peacock color. Isn't that so pretty? All just with stamps and ink. Like, oh, so gorgeous. All right. So now we have, here it is, another one of those beautiful gold foil laser cut pieces. Okay. Like, guys, I can't even tell you how much I love these. Okay. And if you don't want gold, flip it over and you've got white that you could color any color, right? You could bring in your brayer or a sponge dauber and sponge these any color you like. Like, talk about awesome. Such a great product. Okay, so this is going to get centered on our circle here. So we're going to add a couple of dimensionals, and I'm actually going to put them on the circle just to make sure that I don't put them where the label isn't going to be. Okay, so this is going to be here. We're going to get rid of our backings, and that is going to go on. How did I do it? I guess it doesn't really matter. We're going to center that on there like that. Look at that. Oh, so pretty and so easy. Okay. Sorry, I'm really loving these products, you guys. I can't even tell you. All right, so I'm going to cut just a little bit of that ribbon just to use as an accent in the back. And what I did again, so this is about maybe 5 1/8 inches. I'm going to cut a notch in each end. And we're just going to lay that across the front, just this swing arm. And I'm going to lay down, oh, I can't lay down a bit of fast fuse. Let me grab my other fast fuse because I need tape. To stick this down, you're going to want tape of some kind. The glue dots tend to pull at the ribbon and you see where they are. So I'm going to put just a little bit of fast fuse there. You could totally use snail for this or the new awesome adhesive that is coming. Okay, and I'm just pressing that into place like that. All right, now this is going to get adhered on top of that, okay? And I'm going to just put a little bit, actually, let's put it on here. No, I lied. We're going to put it on here. A little bit of Tombow. I would use fast fuse if my fast fuse were cooperating. And we're going to center that on our swing arm like that. Okay. The reason I didn't put my Tombow onto the actual gold piece is I wanted to make sure I didn't get it and have it be visible from the back. Okay. And then again, we're going to tie another pretty bow. So again, making our loops. Left crosses over right. Bring it through and pull. And you do have to play with this a little bit to get your loops the way you want them. This does have a bit, it grabs a little bit, so you just have to be gentle to form your bow. And you end up with such pretty bows, like so pretty. Look at that. Now the really cool thing about this trim is that you can dye it. Okay, so you can dye it with your re-inkers. I haven't tried it with the blends. You may be able to just color it with your blends. I haven't tried that yet. Stay tuned. I will play with that and I will let you know how that works. But dyeing it with re-inkers totally works as well. All right, so there we go. Isn't that pretty? And then that again is going to get adhered with the glue dot. Excuse me, just got a hiccup there. Adhered with the glue dot, just at the bottom of our label there. Oh, that one's too long. That's gonna bug me. Gotta trim this a little bit. Sorry guys. The perfectionist in me is not liking that. There we go. That's better. How pretty is that? And easy. Like those gold foil laser cut things. Oh my stars. They make everything so quick. All right, let me bring in all the projects again so you can see them all together. So we have 1, 2, and 3 beautiful projects made using the Forever Greenery Suite from the new annual catalog. Now this catalog, guys, goes live June 3rd. On June 2nd, so 2 weeks from today, I am going to have my big catalog launch. So my live event not next Tuesday, but 2 weeks from now, will be all about showcasing my favorite products from the new catalog. So I hope you'll join me for that. But that's it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed these and join me on Friday. I am going to have so much fun doing some simple stamping projects with this awesome stamp set. We'll see you then. Have a great week. Bye for now.